Hey, what's up, y'all? It is Tuesday. I hope you don't went on ahead and got them tacos and tortillas and tequila in your system. If you haven't got your tequila in your system, go ahead and get you a little 1 2 1 2 because it's time for a new episode of Cree Said what? And yeah, I said it. And if it hit a nerve, it's probably something that you needed to hear. Now on Tuesdays, y'all already know what's going on. So we about to get into some trending topics. And at the top of my list of trending topics this week is Mr. Teddy Campbell filing for divorce from Miss Tina Campbell of Mary Mary. Now, don't get me wrong. Tonight we're gonna talk about something that people love to judge, right? Marriage, divorce, infidelity, all the things. Women who stay. Women who stay in relationships, women who stay in marriages, women who stay in betrayal, women who stay after disappointment, women who stay after being hurt. But before we go any further, I just want to clearly say this, okay? This is not a conversation about shame. That's what you're here for. Baby, I promise you, it's never going to be that, okay? It's never going to be that. Because people love to ask, well, why she stayed? But rarely do they ask, what was she carrying while she stayed? And that's the real conversation. So before we get into it,
since then I found out about more, and I don't want to hold on to somebody who I cannot trust. You see, I have been trying since the very beginning. The situation gets a little worse, and then I try to forgive, and it gets a little worse, and I try to forgive. You gonna keep adding people? You gonna keep adding people? You gonna keep adding people? I thought we had a good life just like everybody else watching. I thought we was the ideal relationship just like everybody else. And I got to find out in front of the whole goddamn world that all of my life was a lie. And you want me to quote scriptures right now? I don't want you want me to say what I don't. You want me to say something that's all positive? I feel negative right now. I know that. I just want you to understand that. I know that.
Family, and so I called, and she didn't answer her phone. So when we got home, it was Super Bowl Sunday, I said, come upstairs. I said, are you having an affair with her? And he said, no. I said, call her. Why are we doing this? I was like, call her. And so he did. And he was like, Tina wants to know, and da-da-da-da. And I said, are you sleeping with my husband? And she hung up the phone, so I had my answer. So it broke my heart. It devastated me, and I spazzed out. I destroyed 3 cars. I cut up and crashed up and tried to stab and plotted murders and all kind of crazy stuff because I was angry. And I started doing all of that, and I said, I'm practicing dying every day. Either I'm going to die wrong or live right. And so we've been working on living right.
Changed. She called me and she said, I understand what you're saying. She said, Tina, you know I was with her. I understand feeling what you feeling. She said, but you're called to him.
No, she did not say that.
Kathy Simon said to me,
you are called.
I said, you don't even call me and talk like this. She gave me scriptures that was comforting to my mind. She gave me scriptures that was encouraging to my spirit. And she gave me a word. And she said, I know that you don't, that you're mad and that you hate him and that you want to get a divorce and all this. I just found out about some more people in that particular town. She said, Bettina, she said, you are called to him. She said, he is your godly assignment. And she's
2 years now, since the summer of 2024, I've been standing on Isaiah 50. It's either verse 7 or verse 8. And in the New Living Translation it says, because the sovereign Lord helps me, I will not be ashamed. Therefore I have set my face like a stone, determined to do his will, and I will not be put to shame. My God is still good. My God is still faithful. My God is still with me. And if God be for me, even this won't stand against me. Praise him through it, and he'll get you through it.
I have followed Mary since we thought that they was twin sisters, okay? That just to tell y'all my age when they first came out. You know, I was trying to get the shackles off my feet. I didn't know what a shackle was. But if you've been up on a rock and you don't have any idea what's going on, Tina and Teddy were married for a total of 25 years. When just in the last week, it came out the way that everything always comes out, even though they're not even on reality TV anymore, that Teddy filed for divorce. Yes, Teddy. Teddy filed for divorce. The same Teddy that she was talking about in the first clip that you saw, the Teddy that she was talking about in the second clip, and still the Teddy that she's talking about in the third clip. Because see, by the time we got to the fourth clip, she was talking about herself and God, the only man. But that's neither here nor there. But back in the day, for those of you who don't know anything about it, back in the day, around 2012, 2013, Teddy cheated on Tina. He was a habitual cheater. Someone reached out to her, put her up on game, let her know what was going on. She confronted him. He eventually admitted to the fact that he had been cheating on her. Then they go through the course of him just exposing all the cheating that he had been doing. It went over a course of time. They went through their back and forth. Tina went through her anger. They went on a tour a couch to couch tour. letting everybody know and giving their testimony about how they made it through. And even as recently as being on Dear Future Wifey, because Dear Future Wifey was not out when all of this stuff jumped out. So I mean, this was still something that was happening current day. I've learned that she'd actually been completely gone almost from everything for about 7 years. And I remember them doing marriage content with one another, doing tours, giving lectures, all the things just was to get to the year of our Lord 2026, and for him to be the one to file from divorce from her. Now, there's a lot of people that are saying she should have did this, she should have did that, because we saw the tears, the counseling, the rebuilding, the prayers, the fight to save the marriage. We saw all of that, right? By the time the show here went off the air, social media was booming, and we still had like a up close look at both her and Erica's lives. But for many years, people locked in and looked at this story as proof that forgiveness and faith could restore what was broken. Like even in the clip from Dear Future Wife podcast, he literally was talking about how watching their story was what gave him the strength, to hold himself accountable and things of that nature. And I think that is beautiful because one thing that I don't like that we tend to do is because something eventually may turn or go left, then we start to negate all of the people who witnessed that thing as it was going good and were able to find what they needed or resonate with the story that they were hearing and able to make changes in their life. I don't like that. And now with divorce entering into the conversation after years of reconciliation, people are asking all the same questions over again that they were asking back then. But for me, the lesson was never whether or not she should have stayed. Not just that. It was always what staying required of her. Let me say this for you bitches in the back that's always looking for a reason to be mad at Christianity, to be mad at married people, to be mad at people in relationships, to be mad at people who forgive their spouses or forgive their boyfriends or whatever. Let me say this for y'all. Staying does not automatically mean weakness. Okay? And leaving doesn't automatically mean strength. You know how many women leave and still lay awake at night on their face praying? I think Whitney said it best. Why does it hurt so bad? Why do I feel so sad? I thought I was over you, but I keep crying. When I don't love you, why does it hurt so bad? I gotta get you out of my head. Let me tell you something. You can get up and walk away and still have some of the weakest nights. I'm speaking from what I know. Sometimes people stay because they believe in marriage. Sometimes people stay because they believe they can change that person. Some people stay because they have kids. Like there are always multiple reasons why people stay in relationships. Sometimes people stay because of finances. Because let me tell you something. Y'all think about it. Think about how many videos, depending on what side of TikTok, the TikTok algorithm or Facebook algorithm, how your stuff filters to you. How many times have y'all come across a woman's video where her husband's leaving her. She's been married for 10, 15, 20 years, and she doesn't know what she's going to do because he was the provider. He always took care of everything. She thought everything was okay, and she has absolutely no idea how she's going to start over again. Because finances for anyone, whether you're in a marriage or single, they matter. Okay? Sometimes they say because starting over is terrifying. Especially if they got single friends. Let me tell you something. I am one of the first ones to tell my married friends, you better not. You better figure it the fuck out. What you don't want to do is be out here, especially at our big age. You do not want to be out here in these streets. Is it still fun? Yes, it's still fun. I don't know why people trying to make it seem like it. It's fun depending on what you out here looking for. Okay? It's fun depending on what you out here looking for. But it is still scary because you don't know who to trust. You don't know if someone's being sincere. You don't know if someone's actually being genuine. Sometimes people stay because they still actually love the person. Like, despite whatever happened, the love that they have for that person supersedes whatever the transgression is or was. They just plain flat out love them. And sometimes they stay because faith tells them first, you fight. That's some people. And sometimes they stay because they're trying to figure out if they choose love, how that's going to work out. They're confused. They don't know if they're choosing love or if they're afraid to let go. And that doesn't make them foolish. That makes them human. Staying isn't weakness. Losing yourself while staying is. Let me say something while I take a sip of my wine because I know it may hit a nerve. Matter of fact, I know for a fact with some people it's definitely going to hit a nerve. Choosing marriage is not the same as choosing God. Choosing marriage is not the same as choosing God. And I need for more women to understand that because sometimes we confuse the two. We start thinking that if we hold on longer, pray harder, suffer quieter, keep enduring, that somehow that somehow proves our faith to God Himself. That what we do for this other human that has done this, that, and the third, is showing God how loyal we are to Him. But choosing to keep a marriage at all costs is not automatically choosing God. Sometimes it's choosing fear. Sometimes it's choosing image. Sometimes it's choosing familiarity. Sometimes it's choosing the dream of what you wanted versus what you actually need to be happy. And sometimes women stay because they think that leaving means they failed God. And I promise you, I ain't preaching. Never ever, never am I ever preaching. But no, I'm sorry. Mm-mm. Not the God I serve. Mm-mm. 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 Y'all ever heard the Southern Baptist preachers talk about you went too far and you stayed too long? That behavior isn't eliminated just because it's with the person that you exchange vows to. God isn't asking you to worship marriage. He's not asking you to sacrifice your peace just to maintain a title. Marriage is a covenant, yes, but marriage is not your God. And hoping to be married is not the same as being spiritually aligned. Like, I know people who will date people that they are not compatible with and don't like because they like them. Date people within their church or people that exhibit a strong faith in Christianity. Because even if that person ain't their type, because somewhere down the line, they learned that if you get somebody that exhibits those qualities, the relationship will automatically lead to marriage. Because I know women who want weddings more than they want healing. Like they be jacked up, talking about they get married. Life is a whole bitch. This nigga been cheating ever since they met one another. And somehow or another, they think that simply by getting married, all of a sudden, with God's help, all the crookeds gonna be straight. I know women who are committed to the idea of a husband, but disconnected from themselves and from God. They stopped actually worshiping God a long time ago. They didn't stop acknowledging Him. They didn't stop exalting Him, or at the very least, exalting His name. But their relationship with God completely changed. And sometimes that relationship changed based on the leadership of the head of the house. And according to me, just according to me, choosing God looks like truth. It looks like wisdom. It looks like peace. It looks like obedience. It does not always look like staying. We always swear out that we be hearing God. I hate the fact that when the authors wrote it, they said that even a rock cried out, because Lord have mercy. Them that speak through an ass and all that, because Jesus Christ, we will attach God's voice to any and everybody and anything, even in the clip. I tell you, none of this is absolutely to shame her. His first child's mother that hated him the first 13 years of their marriage called her while they were broke up and was like, he is your assignment. And she took that as we're supposed to stay married. This is yet another person that God is sending. When it could have been just as simple as, since he ain't been with you, this ain't been shit when it comes to his kid. Bitch, I need you to take him back. But see, one thing about us women, we always know our audience. We gonna make sure that when we go to our audience, when we try to get something done, we appeal to that audience exactly the way that audience needs to be appealed to. She knew how to come, and she ate it right up, and we do too. We do too. Those of us as Kev was on Kev on stage would say, us churchy, we're just churchy. Yeah. All it takes is for us to hear it more than one time from more than one person. Do y'all know how many times I heard during, after, and even as recent as this year that me and my ex were made for each other and we should have never broke up? That he should have stayed with me? That our relationship was the ideal relationship? And I go, yeah, yeah, too bad. I'd always do that because why would I be ugly? I'm damn near a decade removed. But like, how many times people said that and they had no first-hand day-to-day knowledge of what that relationship actually took to be what they saw. And I've learned since then, it never had to be that. Choosing truth, like I said, is choosing wisdom, grace, obedience. And it doesn't always look like staying. People clap. Y'all ain't hearing the clips. She said when she gave their testimony about how they went through this and that, and then she was staying, and they were gonna work it out. The whole audience, that gets applause. People will say like, "Oh, that was back in the day with the way women are now." It'll still get applause now, depending on what room you in, and it ain't got to be no church house. It ain't got to be no church house. We have to stop confusing worshiping God with worshiping people. Because if you learn like I learned, soon as you put anybody, it didn't say anybody except your spouse. When you put anything or anybody before him, he'll remind you exactly why you shouldn't. Now let's talk about the woman who keeps holding it together. That woman that keeps showing up. That woman that keeps praying, keeps trying, keeps saying, maybe this season it'll be different. She's not always weak. I know that's what you thought. Y'all thought I was about to come for her. She's not always weak, but sometimes she's exhausted. Sometimes she's hopeful. Sometimes she's loyal. Sometimes she's surviving. And sometimes she's carrying the entire emotional weight of the relationship while trying to protect everyone else. And nobody sees that part. They just see that she stayed and judge that choice, not realizing all the things that she had to endure in order to make it work, in order to give it a chance, in order to put up a fight. One thing is Christians, and I don't know what white Christians are. I'm assuming that all Christians do the same thing, but I know for a fact with us and how we're taught, anything that's worth having is worth fighting for. Y'all can apply whatever Bible verse y'all want to apply to it, because this ain't that type of motherfucker party. So we're going to put in the work. Because, ladies, that's what we do, right? We put in the work. No one ain't ever going to say we ain't tried. We are built to endure all things. I don't know who told us that. I don't know when it became women in particular who have the badge, have the t-shirt, have the badge and everything that says that we the super. I don't know who that was. I don't know who that was. And it very well may be true. Because I be going through shit all the time. Heavy shit. Heavy shit. I've been in a heavy shit season. Probably since right before the pandemic. But I keep surviving. And people tend to diminish or talk down on everything it takes in order to stay loyal and survive and to wait, to be exhausted and still show up. I mean, I'm just saying. Once we make the decision that we are going to stay in a relationship, specifically one with infidelity, I can tell you, after the first time that I found out that my ex was cheating, I cried. Ooh, I cried. When I tell you, I can relate to Tina so much. And I even applauded her because she fought back. Because she fought back at all. Because I never fought back. I never fought back. I remember the first time that I found out he was cheating on me, it was phone calls and text messages that I saw. Not because I was snooping, but because we always just grabbed each other's phones and answered each other's phones. And he got a little reckless and forgot to delete the messages from the day. And I read them, and all the air felt like it left me. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't think. I couldn't see. I couldn't hear. When I tell you, like, I just could not believe it. I just couldn't believe it. Like, I looked through to try to see if maybe somebody else was using his phone. I was hurt. Hurt. And I waited a couple of days because I wanted to be able to get the words out. And I asked him. And he lied square to my motherfucking face. I mean, the nigga was quick. He had an instant excuse for why those messages were in the phone that way. Why they came off the way that they did. Because they weren't directly vulgar. Why they came off the way that they did. And I didn't want him to be cheating on me. So I accepted it. The next person I found out he was cheating with, I had done convinced myself that all them other bitches could beat aside. There's a clip I did her with on that type of time. So they could beat aside, but I'm the main. I'm the one that he do ... I'm the one that he blah, blah, blah. I don't give a... They want the pieces. They want the scraps. They can get the scraps. Yo. Oh, what a difference. Oh, baby. That motherfucker couldn't pay me to find out he cheating on me 2026 and beyond. And I fucking stay. Cause nigga, who the fuck do you think you are? And like a lot of women, my forgiveness every time became self-abandonment. Because we have to be honest. Forgiveness is beautiful. Forgiveness is beautiful. Like the makeup, the promises, the added attention to detail, like the entire path. The forgiveness is beautiful. But forgiveness can also become dangerous when it turns into self-abandonment. When you keep forgiving behavior that keeps breaking you, eventually you're going to end up in pieces. When you keep always explaining disrespect, you start to believe the lies that you're telling other people, because they're the lies that you've been telling yourself. When you keep shrinking so the relationship can survive, that's not healing. That's not growth. Tina went from a multi-platinum crossover recording artist duo group to simply being Teddy's talented wife. By choice. By choice. That is the title. She talks about how while recording the show, she was telling people before she found out, she was actually on the show proclaiming that she didn't need Mary. She didn't need to be on the road. She didn't need to be touring. All she needed was Teddy and her kids, and she would let all of it go just to go home. And that someone saw that, and that's when they were like, oh, sis. I found out some shit, and I've been trying to make sure that shit was valid. And they told her the bullshit, and then it went on from there. When you keep shrinking so that a relationship can survive, that is not healing, that's disappearing. Tina Campbell literally disappeared. Someone that we saw. And it was so at every award show, whether it be gospel or otherwise, on television, everywhere, all across our radio, she disappeared. Do you know how many people had absolutely no idea that her and her husband were doing marriage content? It ain't because they weren't married people. Because we keep up with the private business of married people all the time. Hell, I'm out of married people business right now. It's because she disappeared. And it was even more evident because throughout all of it, we still saw Erica. And too many women are praised for endurance while privately grieving themselves. Because once they reconciled, she was no longer grieving the relationship. The relationship was back. It was back. But imagine how hard it could be, or how hard it is to have to wake up every day and choose somebody that you know didn't always choose you. You should never betray yourself to prove that you love someone else. Then some of us have the pleasure of being the type that forgives them and blames themselves. Guilt is a real thing because so many women forgive the person who hurt them but keep punishing themselves by still allowing that person to be in their presence. You replay everything. What did I miss? Why didn't I leave sooner? How did I allow this? Why did I keep hoping? And now, instead of healing, you become your own enemy. Baby, listen to me. Listen to me. You cannot heal. You cannot heal while making yourself responsible for someone else's choices. And I just don't know what it is. I just feel like. I say I feel like it ain't saying nothing. It's sexual now. But I just feel like when she made the decision that she was going to forgive him and still allow him to be her husband and be in her life, she used God as the reason, because she was able to take the things that he may have mentioned before the cheating was exposed or while the cheating was going on. She was able to tell, well, I wasn't doing this and I wasn't doing that. One thing I will say about my last relationship and the cheating, I did not have that moment. I forgave him every time, but at no point did I say to myself, even after we broke up and I was going through my healing journey, not one time did I say I could have did this better. I should have did this. I promise you, I never did. I never did, and I still don't. When dudes like to ask, because they see it online, like to ask people, what did you do wrong in your last relationship? Not a motherfucking thing, but stay. Not a goddamn thing, but stay. I went too far and I stayed too long. I should have been got about it there. But thank God I did get out when I got out. But that's the only thing I did wrong. There wasn't anything I said I could have done better. Because I was exceeding expectations. Exceeding expectations. But a lot of times we'll go through the motions and we'll be like, yeah, he did this, but yeah, he did that, but what? But what? So because you didn't keep your hair, nails, and toes did, and he said he liked it when you used to keep your hair, toes, and nails did, that gave him the right to go stick his dick in somebody, bitch. Come on. Come on. Be fucking for real. I like it when you used to dress sexy all the time. Now you don't do nothing but put sweats on. That was that's when you heard the sirens. That's when the horns started playing, telling you it was time to go fuck. Come on. Come on. Like I said, you cannot heal while making yourself responsible for someone else's choices. You just can't. So you're going to start beating up on yourself because you promised them you wouldn't beat up on them no more. Then sometimes we stay and still leave. You know how many people I know that are in committed relationships or even married who left that relationship a long time ago. They still on papers. If they ain't married, they still live together, still do things with the kids together, still show up to events together. But they mentally left, and if not physically, left to a certain extent a long time ago. And I feel like it's something that people don't talk about enough because sometimes you stay and you still leave later. And to be honest with you, I feel like that's what he did. I honestly feel like he didn't just go jump out there and go be in the streets and just be outside. But I don't care what he said in interviews. He was never fully back there. Because you can't go back to being what you were before the transgression. Sometimes forgiveness helps you survive the moment, but clarity helps you make the final decision. And sometimes staying gives you the peace you needed to know that you tried. Because nobody wants to be seen as a failure. And I don't care what nobody, leaving later, for me, to me, it isn't a failure. It's wisdom. That's why I never judge women for the timeline of their healing. Some people think that you got to have complete separation from a situation in order to heal. Plants grow in shit every day. New blooms, new petals, new leaves, surrounded by shit. That's why I could never judge a woman if her healing journey is in the midst of a full-blown storm or in a heap of a bunch of fucking mess. Because bitch, like seriously, shit's the best fertilizer. Not everybody can just up and leave a situation at the drop of a dime. That's not reality. They're like, girl, you need to get on here and go. What about that woman that's been married for 20 years and her husband is like I mentioned earlier, is the sole provider. She just can't fucking get up and fucking leave. She just can't. So rather than trusting God, whether it's flawed or not, rather than trusting God to get her on her way into her next season, She chooses to trust God to heal her marriage when she should be asking God to heal her. Sometimes the bravest thing a woman does is not leaving fast. It's finally leaving when she's ready. Because let me tell you something. People jump up and leave people all the motherfucking time. Jump up and leave people all the time. And then you hear about they right back to damn together. They're right back together. Sometimes it might take a couple weeks. Sometimes it might take a month. Sometimes it might take a year. Never know. You never fucking know. But they end up right back together because she didn't do the things that she needed to do while in it or when she left to truly heal. She might have got outside, but I promise you, outside ain't being outside is not a part of your healing journey. Fucking new niggas is not a part of your healing journey. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not one of them. Is fucking new niggas fun? Absolutely. Is that shit gonna help you heal? Absolutely motherfucking not. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. So I think it goes to bear to repeat. Sometimes the bravest thing a woman can do is not leaving fast. It's finally leaving when she's ready. I know a couple right now that for months, everyone say, why she just won't leave him? Why she just won't leave him? Why she just won't divorce him? Why she just won't leave? Why the fuck is it either one of our fucking business? But if we're going to mind the business, you have to do it when you're ready, because if you leave prematurely, a lot of times you're left with too much doubt. So to the woman that's listening right now, and I'm going to read this so that I can make sure that I say it right. To the woman who stayed too long, to the woman who left and still feels guilty, to the woman who is embarrassed by what she tolerated, to the woman that's trying to rebuild after disappointment, the woman asking herself if she made the right choice, hear me clearly. You are allowed to forgive yourself. You're allowed to forgive yourself for what you missed, what you accepted, what you hoped would change, for loving someone who mishandled your heart, for staying, for leaving, for surviving. It's okay. You are allowed to stop carrying the shame of just being human. The real lesson isn't always leave. It isn't always stay, because there are no absolutes in this world, on this earth. There are no absolutes. I don't care how anybody dress it up for you. But pay attention to what you're staying in and what it's costing you. Because love should not require your disappearance. Faith should not require your silence. Commitment should not require your destruction. And forgiveness should never require you to lose yourself in the process. Tonight, as always, I leave you bitches with this question. Okay? Have I been fighting for this relationship while quietly losing myself? And before you be like, I ain't lost myself because I'm doing me. I did listen. That person that you created in order to deal with what's going on at your house, that person you created ain't you. That person, that person that you are becoming is still to be announced. Because you don't start becoming the new you until you get rid of the old bullshit. Or at least find a quiet place to put it. That new bitch that be outside not giving a fuck, that is not the new you. So ask yourself, have I been fighting for this relationship while quietly losing myself? And have I been choosing marriage while calling it God? Drop a comment, let me know. What did staying teach you? What did it teach you, good or bad? For those of you, and this is whether you were in a marriage or just in a long-term committed relationship that ended. What did staying teach you, or what did finally leaving teach you? Did I say teach you? As always, make sure that you like, subscribe, and share this episode with a woman who needs a reminder. Okay? And if you're ready to go deeper, head over to lifeaccordingtocree.com. Tap into the Life Check and Empower 365 challenges. Ain't no dating advice over there. There ain't no dating site. Bitch, it ain't a dating site. You want random dating advice? Hit me in my motherfucking inbox on socials, okay? That's what you're gonna need to do. Because remember, loving yourself first is not selfish. It's necessary. I'll see you all next episode. Bye.